Hello there, friends and sane persons, and welcome to another episode of Wednesday Whimsy. My name is Kyle, and Wednesday Whimsy is a short show that I do every Wednesday evening where I talk about a board game, a top 10 list, or some other board game related topic, or something else, whatever happens to be on my mind. It is getting to the end of the year now, and at the end of the year I like to do lists where we look back at the year and talk about the best, but I have seen online some other people talking about their top lists from last year, and I thought, that would be fun, because I did a top 24 of 2024 last year, so I'm not going to do that. I'll do the top 25 of 2025 over the next 2 weeks, but I'm going to look back at the top 10 list from last year, and I'm going to tell you, what would be on my list today. So if I were to have made my top 10 list for 2024 right now, these are the games that would be on there. And I'll tell you, sort of where the games kind of went or what else is there. We'll talk about it. So not a really long list, hopefully, but let's get started with my number 10 from last year. All right, my number 10 is, it's a game that I don't think was on my list last year. I don't think I had actually played it by the time I made my list. In fact, I know I hadn't. I remember seeing it on the Dice Tower Cruise and thinking, oh, that looks kind of boring. I remember seeing it online and thinking, oh, that looks kind of boring. But then I heard really good things about it, and so I decided to give it a try anyway. That game is called Men Nefer. So previously, the game on the list was Galileo Galilei, and I still really like that. It has fallen off the top 10 list, but it's still an excellent game, and there's an expansion coming for it that might push it back up. But Men Nefer is a loosely Egyptian-themed game. It's really just a Euro game, and it's all about kind of moving up on some tracks, and there's an interesting mechanism of worker-ish placement where you're going to place in a house, and then if other people are there, you have to pay extra, and then you can upgrade them and sort of do more on that track, and then as you go down the tracks, the bonuses get better and better, and you're moving down this river, and you're building up pyramids, and it's an odd game, and thematically, not really anything special. It looks pretty good, actually, once you get it set up. The box looks real boring, but I really enjoyed Men Nefer, and it's my top, my number. It's now in the top 10, even though it was not last year. So there you go. Let's talk about my number 9. All right, my number 9. It was also not on my list last year. I had played it, and originally I didn't think it was all that interesting. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fine. But then I played it a lot more. It's a game that works so well with so many people that I got to play it a lot. And the more I played it, the more I liked it. And now it's become, one of my top 10 games from last year. This is Castle Combo. Castle Combo is a game where you are, thematically there's nothing going on, but you're basically drafting 9 cards, and you're going to place them in a 3x3 grid and eventually score them. So that's kind of it. Everything's going to be sort of scoring in relation to other things. Some things want you to have money at the end of the game. Some things want to be adjacent to or in the same row or column with different symbols. Some things don't want you to have something. And you're just basically trying to make the best scoring grid. It's, it probably takes 10 minutes to play. There's really not a whole lot there, but there is a lot in terms of the different combos that you can make and the interactions. There's just enough sort of control over this, and also a bit of randomness. It's a small game. It's very unassuming, and it's the kind of game you can teach to anyone. So I really enjoy Castle Combo. Last year, my number 9 was Bomb Busters. Bomb Busters is one that we'll talk about a little bit later because it's gone up. So great for Bomb Busters, and also great for Castle Combo. Let's go to number 8. My number 8, I also don't think I had played. I don't remember if I had played it by this time last year. But I remember when I did play it, I was blown away at how clever this game was. This game is really something special. The game is called Fromage. There you go. Fromage. It is a game about cheese. The game is this giant cheese wheel, and it is a simultaneous worker placement game. So you're going to be placing workers on your own little wheel of cheese, and then everyone else is going to be doing it on their own wheel, and then the wheel is going to rotate. And that rotation, it serves a purpose. It doesn't just put things in front of you. It also is how you track the time of your workers, because the workers, if they do bigger actions, they're going to be locked up for longer. You only have 3, and so if you put them, like make a really great, a gold level cheese, then they're going to be locked up for 3 rounds. You could make a cheap cheese that's maybe not be worth all that much, but it might be what you want or what you need. Each of the different 4 segments is going to score differently as well, and the game is very good because it's simultaneous. There's also a decent solo version. I really like it. In fact, there's another game called Formaggio, which is basically an expansion to Fromage that has come out just barely this year. Let's see if it makes it onto my list or not, but it's pretty much the same game. Really interesting, a fantastically unique game that just doesn't feel like anything else, looks great, and is a delightful theme. My previous number 8 was Freedom 5. Freedom 5 has fallen down a little bit. It'll definitely still be in the top 24, but it's such a big and long game that I find it difficult to get to the table sometimes. And, and because it's so big, playing it solo is a little difficult because you got to be everywhere. And then it's also kind of hard to teach. So I find it kind of suffers just a little bit. I still really like it. I love the IP. I love my card in there. But it's not going to be in the top 10 from last year anymore. Although it's definitely in the top 25. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about Fromage, my number 8. Let's go on to my number 7. All right, my number 7 is a game that has fallen a little bit. I think it was my number 3 last year, but that's okay. I still really like it because it's in my top my top 7. It is Stefan Feld's probably his best game. This game is Civolution. Civolution is thematically not much going on, but you're sort of expanding. You've got this large board that you're trying to fill up with these bonus action tiles that it kind of looks like the periodic table. You're rolling dice, and you're going to be selecting dice every action and trying to take different actions, accomplish different things. You've got cards that are technologies that you're trying to put into play. There's a lot to love here. There's even an expansion that came out this year. I'm excited to try it. Maybe it would bump it back up a little bit. The only reason it's not higher is because it's a big game that's difficult to teach and takes up a lot of space. But it's really fun, and the solo in this is fantastic. This game knocks it out of the park. The rest of the list is just so strong. That's why it's fallen a little bit. Previously, my number 7 was Unconscious Mind. Unconscious Mind, a game themed about the early days of psychoanalysis. It is a huge Euro game. It is fantastic. It has great artwork. But it takes up a table. It takes up so much space that a human table can't accommodate it, which is really why it has fallen down a little bit. But it's still really good. Definitely still in the top 24, just no longer in the top 10. I really like Unconscious Mind as well, but my number 7 is Civolution. Let's go on to number 6. Here we go. My number 6 is a game I talked about just a minute ago. This is the Spiel des Jahres, or Kennerspiel, I don't remember. I think it was Spiel des Jahres this year, is Bomb Busters. Bomb Busters, an amazing deduction game that's all about working together cooperatively to defuse a bomb. And what you're doing is you're sort of giving everyone's going to have these tiles arranged from 1 to 12 in numerical order, chosen randomly. And you're going to be trying to figure out where everyone else's tiles are. And on your turn, you're going to identify one of yours and point to a player in which tile it matches. So you want to knock out the 4s. There's 4 of everything, so you can slowly start to eliminate things. Sometimes you have to take a risk. There's special equipment that lets you sort of bend the rules a little bit. Maybe, cheat on one turn or something if you need it. It gives you a small bonus. There's something like 66 scenarios. I'll say that, I only played through about 20 of the scenarios, but I've played the sort of main game so many times. Like the first scenario after you finish the the tutorial, the first Data tutorial, is just a fantastic game, to the point that I don't really even need all those scenarios. I'm glad they're there. I certainly won't throw them away, but the game is just really good. So it used to be a little farther down. It was my number 9 last year, but now it's my number 6. Previously, I had Invincible, the something hero building game or something. This is a bag building game themed around Invincible. It's fantastic. It's one of the best Invincible games out there, and oddly enough, there's at least 2 really good ones. So, but it's a game where you're sort of kind of Fox of Quedlinburg type of a game where you're kind of pushing your luck and pulling cubes out of a bag and trying to go through scenarios. It's really good. It'd probably be my number 11 if I made a number 11 today. So still really good, but Bomb Busters has gone up. Let's go on to my number 5. My number 5 was, I believe, my number 4 last year. And that is a game that, I mean, I just said this, it was an instant 10 for me the moment I played it. This game is so good. Anunnaki. Anunnaki is a game where you are, you're some sort of godly creations. You're aliens, basically. And these aliens became sort of the gods of modern mythologies. And you're going to take a race, and you're kind of going around, and you've got these big planets. It's a huge game. It takes a lot of space. But the kind of core mechanism here is so fun. You have this board here where you're taking your actions, and there's these paths, and if you move from one spot to another, you get a bonus. If you don't move from one spot to another, no problem. You just don't get the bonus, but you can still do any other action you want, and that's really fascinating. The bonuses themselves, though, let you unlock other gods and special abilities, so you want to take them. It's it's a much faster game than it looks like. This game is one that I would just sit up and play with almost anybody. It's a little bit thinky, and thematically it's a little wonky, but it's so interesting. It's almost, it feels like Scythe to me. And I for some reason compare it with Scythe. It's almost a Scythe killer, to be honest, because it's just so really fascinating. I love this game. There were a couple of newer games, or not newer, but other games that came in that knocked it down just one tiny peg. Still excellent. My number 5 from last year was Harmonies. Harmonies was one of my most played games from last year. I sure did play it a lot. And it's a sort of a pattern building Azul type game. I still really like it. It would probably be in my top 20 if I were to redo the list. Definitely one that I would play all the time, though, because it's so easy. However, Anunnaki is one that is staying on the list. Let's go to number 4. Here's 4. Maybe not. All right, my number 4 is not was not on the list last year because I had not played it. In fact, I wasn't even all that interested in it. It didn't look all that interesting. The artwork wasn't great. It was just another racing game. It wasn't until the cruise when Victor actually said, "I really want to learn this game," and I said, "Well, I guess I can learn the rules for you." This game is Joyride. Joyride: Survival of the Fastest. And this is a sort of, it's often described as halfway between Thunder Road and Heat. It's kind of a demolition derby style race. You're moving around this track. You're often going to crash into each other. You're trying to get around, hit these checkpoints, and then make it through the finish line. Every character has a different car that has some slight special abilities that will make or break the game, but are not so heavy that they're difficult to remember. It is mostly about rolling dice and allocating them. You've got kind of 2 phases of movement. You've got a movement phase, and you've got sort of a fixed movement phase, and then a roll the dice movement phase, so a little less predictable. And the ability to turn is kind of restricted, which really it was a confusing rule at the beginning, but once you get it, it really starts to make sense. There's a lot of expansions. I got the turbo version that has all the expansions to date, and there's also a version that was on GameFound recently that has even more. So I'll be looking forward to that. But this is a game. It just works with so many people. It works with so many player counts. It is fast. You're always engaged. It feels like it's always your turn, even though it's not. There's just so much to love about Joyride. It was a joy ride. Last year, of course, as I have here, my number 4 was Anunnaki. I just talked about it, so you know what happened to it. Let's go on to number 3. Here's number 3. All right, my number 3 I had played when I made my list, but I'd only played it once, and so I wasn't ready to really rate it yet. However, my own copy arrived in 2025, and I played it, and I played it, and I played it. It's a boss battler game, and there were something like 20 bosses when you get the expansion mixed in, maybe even more. I don't remember how many, but they're all different and fun in their own way, but not complicated. I just played this game. I played this game so much, and it's so fantastic. The game is Leviathan Wilds. Leviathan Wilds, you are some sort of a hunter, I guess. There's a name for it, but you're a character and you're going around and you're climbing up on these large creatures, and they're going to have dice on them, and ultimately that's their kind of hit points. You're trying to clean them up of this corruption or whatever. You're trying to take out all the dice. If you do that, you win. But lots of things can happen that can cause you to die first. You'll take damage. There's a corruption mechanism that's very difficult to cleanse, and as you get the corruption, you're going to find you have less and less life. You're constantly having to stop and rest. There's some definite hand management going on, action point allocation, and a lot of really good cooperation. All of the characters are so different and so fun, and there's a little bit of shuffle building. I would like about 6 more hero characters and another book of Leviathans, although I think we've got 2 books of them now. It's just really a fun game. I played the heck out of this year, and it is definitely one of my favorite boss battlers, and clearly one of my favorite games from last year. The game that used to be at number 3 is Civolution. As I discussed, it has fallen down to number 7, but still in the top 10, still an amazing game. So let's go on to my number 2. All right, my number 2 is, it is still my number 2. So it was my number 2 last year, and there are times when it almost wants to pass my number 1. This game is so good, and there's an expansion coming for it right now, and maybe that'll push it over the top. But for now, that's number 3. It is SETI. SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. The big game, sort of the explode onto the scene game for Tomáš Hulek. This is a game about, you're a space agency or some sort of scientific agency, and you are trying to explore the galaxy and find signs of alien life. You're going to be doing that through some action selection. Each turn you do an action. Those actions are going to give you various bonuses. There's lots of combos to perform, but ultimately what you're trying to do is each game there's 2 alien species that are going to be in play, and you're trying to discover them. And once you discover them, there's going to be new bonuses and new actions and interactions and ways to handle it. The expansion's supposed to speed the game up. It's supposed to sort of skip that first round by giving you a bunch of bonuses to start with. And it also comes with 3 new alien races. I wish it came with 10 new alien races. I think the game will be perfect once it has about 10 to 15. But even as it is, this game is just an absolute hit. Everybody I've played it with really enjoys it. It feels like nothing else, and it looks like nothing else, and it is just such an impressive work. I really love this game. I really wish the expansion had actually come out. It was supposed to come out at Essen, but it's taking its sweet time getting over to the stores. Anyway, I will be excited to receive it once it gets here. It was my number 2 last year. It is my number 2 this year, and that is SETI, an excellent game. And so lastly, we have my number 1. I said that this game, SETI occasionally wants to edge out my number 1, which is Primal the Awakening. But I just love this game so much. This is one of my top games. It was in my top 10, I believe, when I did my top. I wonder where it was in my top list. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I wish I had my list here. It doesn't matter. But this is a game where you are. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. You are trying to. This is a boss battler, and I've decided I just really love boss battlers. I think that must be part of the issue here. But a boss battler, there's this giant monstrous creature. And yeah, Primal was my number 11 in my top 100 list. It's this giant creature, and there's several of them in the box. And they all have their own kind of unique deck and unique way of interacting with you. There's a board, but the board really doesn't do much. It's just sort of a positioning. There's this huge mini, and it doesn't even do that much, right? It just kind of measures its facing, but they look fantastic. And you're going to be sort of working together, moving around, trying to surround this creature, hit it from different sides, interact with its unique ways of interacting with you. It is not a stagnant creature. When you hit it, it's going to get angry and hit you back. And you're trying to slowly tick down its life until you kill it. There are 6 different hunters, and they're all different and unique and fun. There's a couple new ones that are coming. I ordered the new expansion that's going to come out in February. Really excited for that. But even just the core game, if you just had the base game with just the 4 basic hunters, you are set. This game is huge. There is a campaign. You don't have to do it. The campaign was just okay. Really where this game shines is as a sort of setup and play boss battler. You pick one boss. You pick some heroes. You pick what level, right? You don't always have to play the same sort of easy. That first boss that you play, you can play it at the easy beginner level, or you can ramp it up to a level 3 where it's going to eat you for dinner. But you also ramp yourself up, so you have kind of access to all. You have a way to access all the fun stuff in the game, and I just love that. I do wish it came with more suggested deck builds. There's only a couple in there, but it's easy to make your own. You just kind of have to say, oh, I want to try this, and then try it. It's really fun. I love Primal. It is a huge box. It is a big, sloppy game with a 100-page rule book, but it is amazing, and that is why it is my number 11 game of all time and my number 1 game from 2024, including on the revisit. So, unchanged there, Primal is worth your time, definitely, even though it's expensive and hard to find. Anyway, how do I turn off this banner? I don't know why I can't do that. It doesn't matter. Actually, it does. I'm kind of annoyed. There we go. All right, so that's it for my list. Those are my the top 10 games of 2024 if I'd made the list right now. A couple of games fell off, talked about them. The lists are always changing based on your preference, although, the really, really good ones tend to sort of crystallize. 2024 was a great year in gaming, and I'm about to start talking about my top 25 of 2025. That's even more great games. What will I talk about? Well, we'll see in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be dividing the top 25 of 2025 into 2 sets. I'll do the first 13 and then the last 12, probably, something like that. And we will see. So stay tuned for more. I hope you've enjoyed this look back at 2024 and this episode of Wednesday Whimsy. Until next time, I'm going to wish you safe travels, courage when you need it, and I hope to see you again soon on another episode of Wednesday Whimsy. Bye-bye.